everybody? Welcome into the Mountaineers Now postgame show. Schuyler, Callihan here with Eugene, Napoleon. West Virginia getting their first win of the season, 56-17, after a long, very long, soggy, wet type of night in Morgantown over the Duquesne Dukes. A quick rundown of the numbers here. West Virginia totaling 619 yards offensively, 315 of which came via the air. 304 on the ground. They averaged 9.8 yards per pass. Garrett Green had 4 touchdown passes in this one. And then Jaheim White, how about this? 12 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown, averaging 9.2 yards per carry. But, Gene, I think we would all be remiss if we did not mention the day that the former walk-on Hudson Clement had 5 catches, 177 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Actually, I believe he still may be a walk-on. I'll have to double check that. But how about that for that kid to come out there and have that type of day? We all know this was going to be a game where you could get some of those backups in. You could get a look at some of these younger kids that maybe redshirt freshmen or were guys that are walk-ons and just trying to find a role. I think he found himself a role here today.
Listen, if he is a walk-on, he shouldn't be after the night.
Yeah.
Just saying. No, they look good, but again, we anticipated them, we expected them to look good. And again, this is no slight against Duquesne, but at the end of the day, these are the type of games that you have to really, like you said, firm up the guys that are, second string, whatever the case may be, get them some much needed reps, get them some game reps, and then you go from there. You build your depth in games like this. And seen a lot, definitely seen a lot from a lot of these key players. And I expected the game to be like this. I said we should hang up north of 50.
Yeah.
And again, it's no disrespect to Duquesne, but here's the thing. I think we're 24-0 against FCS competition. So this is exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to it's all about levels. You're not supposed to be on our level. So bottom line, good win, much needed win. Things look good in the passing game, the running game, 304 yards on the ground, 3+ in the air. That's what it's all about. Now.
The season starts now.
The season starts now. Let's take this momentum into the backyard brawl. And now we got something to talk about. Now we can chew on something. If we win, speak it into existence. When we win next week.
Hey, and speaking of the backyard brawl, the opponent next week in that backyard brawl, Pitt, they lost tonight. They lost to Cincinnati, Eugene, 27-21. And we talked about this on the Walkthrough Game Day show on Thursday. We said this is a great opportunity for Pitt to go and play against another Big 12 opponent that they may be overlooking because, hey, it's a brand new team of the Big 12. They're supposed to be finishing bottom in the league, and they're rebuilding. They may be looking ahead to the backyard brawl. Meanwhile, West Virginia's got a tune-up game, and it worked out perfectly because Pitt lost. They had the strain in that game for 4 quarters. West Virginia, not so much. They had their starters out by halftime or whatever we want to call that, 2-minute window there. But that's great for West Virginia. I actually predicted the score 54-10. I got to give myself a pat on the back, Gene. I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't get these score predictions right very often, but I was this close. So when I come that close, I'm going to say something about it. So anyway,
Absolutely.
I got a big mouth. But anyway, what did you see tonight from this team? I mean, obviously got off to a very slow start. You had the 3-and-out, but then you dropped the punt, which was a fumble. Duquesne takes advantage. They go down and score. And then all of a sudden, things just still it took a while for things to get going. But do you feel like what you saw tonight was satisfactory enough for you to believe that they can win this game against Pitt next week and maybe even the following week against Texas Tech?
There's no doubt in my mind. Listen, when your offensive line plays the way that they played, and again, it's Duquesne, but again, they played dominant football up front. Once they got it clicking and got it rolling, if you can do that against a quality ball club like Pitt and you're consistent on both sides of the ball, offensive line and defensive line, you have a chance to win some football games. Absolutely. Do I think we can beat, Pitt in the backyard brawl? Absolutely. I'm glad to see Green throw the ball down the field and show off his arm give him some confidence in the passing game down the field because he can do that, and it's proven tonight that he can do that. So that's important. I think our DBs grew up a little bit. I think the secondary grew up a little bit tonight. That's
After that
important.
first drive, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they grew up a little bit tonight, and you're going to need that. You're going to need that confidence growing into a very good, game. You're going to put together a very good game plan against, Pitt for this backyard brawl. And if anything, tonight showed me that they can be resilient and they can bounce back when things aren't going well early, and that's important.
Yeah, sure. And defensively, again, I mean, they gave up a couple of plays, and I think really when I look at this, I don't really view this as a 15-6 or 56-17 game, more of a 56-10 game, just because they were set up with bad field position off that punt return, the muff fumble there at the beginning of the game. So I don't really think the defense did a bad job. And when you look at it, I think Aubrey Burks bounced back. He had the worst game of his career last week, comes back, makes plays today. We saw the true freshman Ben Cutter make a few plays, had 4 tackles, and I'm really starting to like this Tommy Wadurjai kid, Gene. I mean, he's not getting a ton of snaps, but it's like every time he's on the field, he is making plays. And when you get that type of production, and I don't want to start getting into these type of comparisons, but that's what Bruce Irvin did when he first got here. He had a role, and he excelled in that role to the fullest, to the point where they couldn't just put him out there on obvious passing down situations. He was out there for every single play. I'm not saying we're quite there with Durjai yet. He's a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot to grow, but love the spurts that we've seen from him, as well as Trey Lathan, who I've been high on ever since he came out of high school. So this is a good bounce back week for all 3 sides of the ball, I think. So looking ahead at the schedule, obviously the big one next week. Everybody in the state knows who that is. It's the backyard brawl against Pitt, 7:30 ABC. And I've got a little something about College Game Day. And I know you like Colorado, but I've got to say my spiel about that before we get out of here. And then, so the following week after that, they play Texas Tech to wrap up the 3-game homestand before they hit the road for TCU, and then a Thursday night game against Houston. So, Gene, last thing before we get out of here. College Game Day decides to go to Colorado versus Colorado State. All respect in the world to Dion. You know I have ultimate respect for Prime. But you're picking Colorado State over the backyard brawl? Come on, man. Colorado USC is in 2 weeks in Boulder. You can go to Colorado then. I know West Virginia isn't great right now. I know Pitt's not great right now, but this is the backyard brawl. The first one in Morgantown since 2011. Why is it not Morgantown?
It's the respect of the brand.
Is it recency bias? It could be.
It could be, but you're talking about right now the buzz of all a sport. Doesn't matter what sport it is. Everybody's riding Colorado right now. Am I upset with that? I'm absolutely not upset with that. Am I upset because I understand right now it's current bias.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. They're the new shiny toy right now. Howsoever, I do agree with you 1,000,000%. This is the backyard brawl, baby. Come on now. This is Pitt, West Virginia. I don't care if both of them are 0-5. It's still Pitt, West Virginia. The backyard brawl. Come on now, College Game Day. Show us some love now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, the last couple of times they were here, they heard this 3-word chant constantly throughout the show. Maybe that has something to do with it. But here's my point on that. Regardless if they're playing Pitt in the backyard brawl or not, if College Game Day comes to Morgantown, you're going to hear that chant. That we heard that chant when they played TCU on game day and LSU on game day. So it doesn't matter. But that's a quick spiel for the night.
Yeah. No, I got you. But hold on now. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, West Virginia will do what West Virginia does. I really believe we'll get these 2 weeks, back-to-back victories. I believe that. We need them, and then things could get quite interesting. And then maybe we'll start getting the respect of ESPN and everybody else.
And what did we say all along? Get through these first 3 games, 2-1 or better, and you're okay. You're keeping
Everything's
your head above water. If you start
the
out 1
possible.
2,
Yeah, man. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. You get through these next 2 weeks with
yep,
victories.
yeah,
With victory, things. That shiny toy might be heading to Morgantown.
it could.
Now we have our own shiny toy to play with. That's all I care about, man. I just want us to be respected. I have a problem when people don't respect West Virginia football.
Yeah, and you got to get that respect earned. And right now, West Virginia is they've got a lot of work to do to earn that, I think, from the national folks. So that's going to do it here for us tonight on the Mountaineers Now post-game show. 56-17, West Virginia over Duquesne, now 1-1 on the year. Again, backyard brawl next Saturday at 7:30 ABC. We'll be back in the morning for the morning after, and we'll be back to our normal schedule as always next Thursday. Don't forget, it's going to be a hot episode on the Walkthrough Game Day show. It's going to be fired up. I can already tell Gene's excited for this one, so be sure to be there and on Thursday. So if you want to get that notification, click that subscribe button on YouTube, give us a like, and you'll know when that video drops. Should be first thing Thursday morning. So for Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching the Mountaineers Now post-game show. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you back here in the morning.